Hello, this is Susan Poss. I had a student asking some questions today about the order of operations, and I had her send a couple of problems to me. So I'm going to work through these problems and hopefully give you a little bit of help on this section. So you see I've highlighted here the absolute value bars. When you take the absolute value of a number, you always get a positive result. So the absolute value of positive 5 is 5, the absolute value of negative 5 is 5, because what you're actually measuring here is the distance away from 0 without regard to the direction away from 0. So this is 5 units away, and this is 5 units away. So when you're taking absolute value of something after the absolute value bars are removed, you should have a positive number. So this is where I'm going to begin the problem, is inside the absolute value bars. And the rest I'm simply copying. And saving those for a later pass through the problem. All right, so now I have completed what's inside the absolute value bars. I'm going to remove the absolute value bars. The absolute value of negative 6 is positive 6. Copy. The absolute value of positive 8 is positive 8. And copy. Okay, now looking inside the brackets, I see an exponent. And you'll remember, please excuse my dear left to right, Aunt Sally left to right. The exponent has priority over the division. So let me do the exponent next. Okay, so I took care of the exponent. Now, working still inside the bracket, I have to finish up everything inside the bracket before I move out there to pick up this times 6. So I'm just holding off on that for a little bit. I see that the division has priority over this addition, so I'm going to come through it this time and do the division. 32 divided by 8 is 4. Still working inside the bracket, I can now do the addition because that has last priority. And now, since I'm finished up with everything inside the brackets, I can move outside the brackets and pick up this multiplication by 6 out here. So it looks like that's going to be 1878. So this result here is going to be 78. Okay, hopefully that will help some. The next one here is a fraction problem, and I think most likely the difficulty here is working with common denominators. All right, so there's your order of operations out there on the side. Let's see, I'm looking through, and I notice here that I have something that's raised to a power. And that's the first thing on my list, is to deal with exponents. I don't have anything inside parentheses to worry about here. All right, so let me just copy until I get all the way out there to the negative 1/2 squared. Now be careful here. The negative 1/2 has the negative inside the parentheses. So that means that the negative is being squared, which is going to give me a positive result. If the parentheses were not there, the negative would be sitting out in front of all of the squaring, and we would end up with a negative result. So just be aware of that notation. Sometimes that can trip you up. Okay, so now as I look at this, I see division coming in here. So I'm going to take care of this division next, saving the addition and subtraction. And of course you can do this on your calculator. I'm going to do it by hand. Division of fractions involves the reciprocal of the second fraction and the operation switching to a times operation. So this times still has priority, and that's going to be negative 16 over 21. And copy and copy. All right, so at this point I'm ready to do addition and subtraction, and I need a common denominator. And the simplest way for me, you may have better techniques to find the LCD, is I like to take the denominators, in this case 21, and factor them, or just write them down, factor them down to their prime factors. And there's a rule that says to find the LCD, you list each unique factor the greatest number of times it occurs in any one denominator. All right, so that's a mouthful. So what does that mean? That means I'm looking at three unique factors. They are 2, 3, and 7. Where does the 2 occur the greatest number of times in any one? It occurs twice there. The 3 only occurs once in 21, and it only occurs once in 3, so I only list it. That didn't show up very well, did it? I list it once. And then the 7 occurs once, and I have to list it. So when you multiply all of these together, you come up with the LCD, which is 84. So here's how you work it by hand. And again, you can put this into your calculator. I don't have any problem with you using the fraction functions. All right, so 21 times 4 will bring this to 84. And then I have to match that multiplier in the numerator so that I'm essentially multiplying by 1 here. I'm not changing the value, I'm just changing the way it looks. You have to multiply the 3 by 28 to bring it up to 84. Match that in the numerator. And you have to multiply the 4 by 21 to bring that up to 84. Okay, so now if you look at these denominators, you'll see that if you multiply these things together, in each case you have a denominator of 84. So this looks like negative 64 over 84. This looks like negative 56 over 84. And this looks like positive 21 over 84. So I'm going to get this negative 120 over 84, and add to that the positive 21, and that has me end up with negative 99 over 84. And that will reduce. I had a conversation the other day with a student about where to put the negative. You can put the negative in the numerator, as I did there with the 99, or you can put it out in front of the whole fraction bar. What is that? 8. So the reduced form of the answer is negative 33 over 28. All right, that's section 8.5, a couple of examples. Hope that helps.